Today, we almost lost a soldier, John Evans. John Evans has coached, I don't even know how many 50-inch jumpers. We've also learned that even the guys that we thought were in THP are THP. This is a funny story. Cam Hazard told me that he trains by trying to piece together the training from watching the podcast. And then I was like, Cam, you're honorary THP. You should have just asked us.
I don't know why. I don't know why he didn't. Cam, why didn't you just ask?
Yeah, but we're your favorite coach's favorite coaches.
Yeah, we're your coach's favorite. Or least favorite because it's like you're.
So me and John, we were talking today about meaning and how one of the things that drive meaning is your sense of significance, your subjective sense of significance for other people's lives. And a lot of people would have missed John if we would have lost him today in today's workout.
This wasn't the worst one, I don't think, but it was bad. Isaiah, tell from your lens.
So for context, John's been doing some secret Russian training. He's pieced together Verkhoshansky's program as best he can. And today he started a new meso cycle for that program. He did the most ridiculous squatting for a month straight I've ever seen. He grew a protrusion on the top of his shin. Do you feel it?
Yeah, like it doesn't hurt, but I can feel it.
Wow. Dang, this is my first time.
I told you feel it?
Feeling you.
Wait, take both your hands. Like, feel it. You can tell.
Yeah.
That's never been
there. Guys, I'm confirming.
It's never been there.
He's got a big old bump.
Never been there.
He's got a big old bump.
It's like starting to come in.
So, second mesocycle is block periodization.
Oh, kind of. It's technically conjugate.
Conjugate?
Well, because actually.
Seems
okay.
Block
yes,
to me.
but one thing comes out for another. It's like on the verge of being block.
Yeah.
Because the first month basically is block. The first 3 weeks, 4 weeks. I mean, technically, no, it basically is. But then as you move, like what Verk would say is it's conjugate because you're substituting exercises and he's counting them as barbell exercises. So he's saying you're doing barbell exercises and depth jumps at the same time. He's not saying just squatting and power exercises.
Is the last cycle because you bleed him
like
in
he
or something
says,
like that?
yeah, like one exercise is substituted out for another, and he'll also say it's conjugate because that's one reason why, because you're substituting out one another and you're doing, like right now, technically this week, I'm gonna squat and do squat jumps. That's not block. So that's one reason.
I thought you were doing straight barbell squat jumps.
I'll do squatting next session, and then I'll go barbell jump, then squatting, then I'll go depth jump, barbell jump, depth jump, barbell jump. So that's why it's conjugate. But it's on the verge of block. And then the other reason why is because he's dichotomizing it into depth jumps and barbell exercises. So he's saying you're doing barbell exercises the whole time, and you're doing depth jumps half the time, but technically you're doing conjugate because you're doing two types.
At the same time.
Yeah, you're doing them at the same time.
Maintain qualities.
Yeah, but it's pretty damn close to block, like for all intents and purposes.
But you did, what's funny is this is week 1, it's the easiest week, and he did the most, like, I guess, plyos I've ever seen in one session.
For me, you think?
80 in a day, including warm-ups, close to probably 100.
So I was supposed to do it with a bar, and we didn't know what.
By the way, if you want to see this lift, we're uploading
I'll put it up today, just the raw lift. You guys can watch it. But
watch it while you lift, so it feels like you're training with us.
It's always a good time. I love watching the raw lifts. They're always fun. And I like making them. They're kind of cool. So I didn't know what 40% of my back squat was when I was going into this because I've been doing it on the belt. And the belt is harder in a deep squat but easier in a half squat. Doesn't really make a lot of sense, honestly. Maybe it has to do with the pulley system and friction or something like that. Or like maybe you're leaning when you're in a half squat and using your hands more, and when you're in a deep squat, you can't lean into the belt. That's one other potential hypothesis I have. But either way, on the bar, I would say, I don't know what my max is. I mean, I've deep squatted 355 in my life, during my lifetime, right? And I've half squatted to that range of motion a shitload. I mean, I've quarter squatted like 700 or something with a bar, something close like that. So a half squat, let's say, is like, I don't know, 450 to 500. Or probably, at least 405 or whatever range of motion this is. It's like my knee joint is probably at...
It's like 90, maybe
no, it's
a little
lower
deeper.
It's way lower than that at the knee. My knee is like a...
On the squat?
So if this is 180, this is 90, right? I'm probably
a little
here.
more. Yeah.
So I'm probably at 120 degrees of flexion. And then this would be like, all the way down. So I'm like here. So I really don't have that much more, maybe 20 more degrees. But I'm getting thigh calf contact. So it's not like you can get to 0,
Yeah.
Or you can get to 180. That would mean my tibia was in line with my femur, which isn't going to happen. So I'm getting a lot of knee flexion. It's not as hip dominant, I would say, maybe potentially. I can't get a lot of hip flexion.
Yeah.
And we didn't know what weight to use, right? So we decided to use velocity. And if you're at 40% of your barbell back squat, you should be moving at about 1.1 to 1.3 meters per second on average. So typically you'd use peak velos for power exercises, but I like using average because it takes out some of the, I'll use a ChatGPT term here, noise. It's more, you get a cleaner signal because it kind of filters out the outliers.
Yeah.
If you maybe like do something slightly different, you might get a higher peak bar speed. So I like average for that, but my average velos were what, like 1?
1, yeah,
so
on the barbell.
And I was supposed to be hitting 1.2 to 1.4. That's what it was, at 40% of my max. So we worked at 185, and I was like, this is too heavy. And then I just my back was going to be the limiter. Like I did the first set of 5 sets of 8. I was like, yeah, if I do 185, there's no way. And then it was like endurance-wise, it was brutal. So then we go to the bands, and I'm like, okay, let me just let me use the belt, but let me put plates on. And then the belt was jumping off because there's like a lag behind the cable and the plates. So I was like, all right, let's go to bands. And then I put the bands on, and it was like, because I was only hitting like 0.7 at 2 reds.
With the 2 bands.
And it felt like I was going way higher. Like if you look at the peak velos, I think it would have been like I don't even know, way higher than that. So I was like, all right, let's look at banded and let's go to average. And it was still low, but it felt like so easy. And I was like, this is kind of weird. So then we moved to peak. And if you're at 40%, your peak velos are going to be like 2.1 to 2.4. So I was like, okay, let me try to hit 2.1 peak velo with the bands because you get a huge deceleration at the top. And I think that lowers the average velo when you use the bands. So I was like, let me just use peak velo. And then my peak velos were at 2.1 to 2.2. And then I decided, all right, now I'm going to go mass-based plus banded loading. And we figured out it was about a yellow and a blue band was 40%. So now I'm able to do, the benefit of this is kind of what Rolf says. You're able to get really high eccentric loading because the belt is coming down faster than the acceleration due to gravity, and it's pulling it down. The other benefit is it's not going to break the belt squat. I've broken the belt squat doing quarter rhythm squats. I don't even probably last year I did it.
Yeah.
I just snapped it. So I was like, I don't really want to break it again. And then the other benefit is you're able to get a cleaner actual jump off and the belt stays connected to you. So you get the benefit of the mass-based loading because at the bottom you're still going to have a set mass. And then at the top you're getting variable resistance plus you're getting acceleration downward with the band. So it kind of has all of these different benefits, but it was freaking hard. The protocol was 5 sets of 8 with 2 series. So you wait 10 minutes and you do 5 sets of 8, with 60 seconds rest. And it felt like muscular endurance. I was out of breath. I was like, I'm not going to get this done, not because I can't do it, but because this is metabolically very freaking hard. And I was sweating my buns off. So Zay, now you've watched the jump squat session, you've watched the squat session. What do you think is going to happen with this?
I think you're going to jump really high.
You think so?
I don't think there's any way you don't.
Why do you say that?
The volume of intensity is so high. A lot of times I can, just watching the sessions, I can see
my cleans I always go hard, but sprints, even sprints I don't always go 100%.
Yeah, it's just I don't know. It seems so specific, and and then you've never done loading like this before. You're failing. You were failing every other set.
I was.
You got way stronger. The fact that you were leaning out with only 2 lifts per week,
yeah,
there's a lot of signs that point towards you. The only thing. My only hesitation is coming from you're not doing the thing.
I agree.
And that's where I'm really curious.
I agree.
I think for someone, but the thing is, I feel like it still might make you jump higher.
Because I've done it so many times over the course of my life. It's more jumping isn't necessarily making me better. It's higher higher quality of high volume of high quality work is what makes me better.
Yeah. I think for someone, it's hard to say if it would make someone like me jump higher, because every time I've pulled out max effort jumping, it doesn't matter how, like, I mean, think about it, I got to my strongest ever and then pulled it out.
The argument for it is that all of the variance is very intense. Like, the variance is high. You have a huge amount of variety from one cycle to the next. Yeah. That's one benefit. The second is it's massively concentrated. It is so concentrated, you will not improve. Like, you will improve at whatever you're doing for that 4-week period, like a lot. Yeah. The third is the intent is maximum for every single exercise you do. So it's max quality. And we talked about this, but we don't know for certain how much general work was actually in the program, which actually I want to grab my laptop and show you this, because it actually does. Isaiah asked me, he's like, do you think this is all he did? And I was like, well, I don't know if this is all he did, but I know he did at least this. Yeah. And, my legs are fried. So if you scroll up into the kind of notes here, right, it says depth jumps, depth jumps require specific preliminary preparation, such as significant volume of barbell exercises, traditional jumping, short sprints, and skipping. One should begin at a relatively low height and increase it gradually. It makes sense to begin with forward jumping and only after sufficient training to jump straight up. Muscle or tendon fatigue, pain, or soreness, as well as incompletely healed injuries are contraindications to depth jumping, meaning if you're hurt, you can't do it. The optimal amount for energetic takeoff is 4 sets of 10 for well-conditioned, 2 sets of 3 to 5 for less conditioned. Easy running and relaxation exercises for a period of 6 to 8 minutes should be done between sets. So what that means is, like, you've got, between the sets of depth jumps, for perspective, towards the end, you've got a 8 to 10 minute rest after you do your 4 sets of 10. Dude, look at this. 10 sets of 10, 2 to 3. That won't be that bad. Where's the bad one? The really, really horrific one is, where is it at? It's like over here. Yeah, this
8 by 10, 6 series.
So this is basically 2 sessions from now, 2 barbell squat or jump sessions from now. I'll be doing that. So not this week, but the next week. Not next week, but the week after I'll be doing that. And I'm actually terrified. This is going to be horrible. I don't know if I'll make it through all of it. So those are. So we know that he's probably doing some sort of like running drills, right? Like you're doing like A skips or just tempo running between the depth jumps. Depth jumps executed in volume indicated should be done once or twice a week in training sessions. He already has that kind of built in. Besides including depth jumps, these sessions can include localized exercises for other muscle groups and general development exercises executed with small volume. Well-conditioned athletes can execute depth jumps 3 times per week at the completion of technical training in the particular sport. So I think this is during the specific prep, because you're not really supposed to do any. You can do some technical work, I think, maybe during this, but it has to be really low level. I've just taken it out because I don't know if I would survive.
At the completion of technical training in the particular sport, you think you could do your jump session and then do that at the end?
Yeah, I think that's what it is. Like 2 to 3 sets. So yeah, this is during the next macro cycle. Like when I'm doing the specific work, you do it once or twice a week, and you just do very, very low volume of it. And then it strongly stimulates the nervous system. Therefore, they should be used not less than 2 to 3 days before technical technique sessions. Sessions devoted to general physical prep with small volume of work should be done after depth jump workouts. So this is saying I'm supposed to do general work after, and in season, I'm supposed to do 2 to 3 days before I'm not supposed to do them.
Yeah.
And then depth jumps occupy a fundamental place in the second half of the preparatory period of the yearly cycle. However, they can function as a means of maintaining an achieved level of special strength fitness during the competitive period. So now this is generally, these are all rules, but it's saying when you get into the season, you can have them in, but don't do them like 5 to 6 days before competition, and it has to be once every 10 to 14 days. Yeah. So basically once every 2 weeks you do them, but if during that period, like if you're competing once a week, then you have to do it 6 days out from competition. Like for you, if you jumped on a Saturday, you'd have to do it on Monday, and then like nothing basically, like general work the rest of the week. This just says how you do them. So it's the quality, not the quantity. They must learn the technique of normal jumping. Great caution should be used when you're doing change of direction. So that's pretty much all the notes it gives.
Yeah.
So what do you by reading that?
I don't know.
That's what I'm saying. Like when you read it, it's like, what should the program look like? It doesn't, unless you read the full textbook and you go through it, which I made the video on, you can kind of piece stuff together. But I figured what I would do is just ensure that I do exactly what he said, as opposed to doing too much and then potentially blunting whatever the goal is. And then next time I do it, depending on how I respond, I'll change variables a little bit, you know? Maybe workload goes up a little bit. I'll probably be a little bit stronger the second time around. I'll know what weights I'm familiar with, what velos I'm familiar with, and then I can kind of adjust accordingly. But if it doesn't work the first time around, I'm not gonna do it a second time. That's kind of where my lens is on it. So I wanna do this. Let's go with this. Put your predictions on what you think, how you think I'll jump. And I do think another thing that's really important is we need to pick a dunk for me to try for the technical work, like to hit consistently. You think just East Bay? Because everything will be targeted towards that. Just Vertec?
Test the 40.
Test the 40.
That's the real way to know.
Oh boy, yeah. I mean, in that case,
that's actually the real way to know if this works.
I mean, in that case, then it's just going to be approaches with the vert trainer and just like getting comfortable, arm swing, knee drive drills, stuff like that. I think that's really all you can do. But put your predictions on what you think I'll test. Coming in, we think I'm at a 37, maybe.
That's where you were at before, though.
No, I'm saying when I did it with you that one day. What I actually touched. It was 36, 37?
I think it was 36.
36.
I remember it was set around 11. You missed 11. It was 11.4 when you missed it. Yeah, I would say 35 to 37, somewhere in there.
Okay, we'll call it 36. So we think 36. I will, if I get 40, a 4-inch jump vertical. I mean, I only tested one time, and it wasn't like the best day ever, but it was a decent day.
Possible. You might.
So I don't know.
You might test a 40.
I don't know, man.
I think if you're healthy, if you can do a full approach, like I think a 40.
Yeah, I mean, my squat has gone up a metric shitload.
And you're gonna be doing depth jumps and shit.
Yeah. So what do you think? What do you think would happen to you if you did this?
I don't know, dude.
You think you'd die?
I might.
The thing is, you can only do it on the belt. You can't do this with a bar. I don't care what anyone says. You cannot do this with a bar. You could bleed sessions, like 50-50. But there's no way you could do this with a bar the whole time.
Yeah.
It's not possible. I don't care what anyone says.
I don't know, bro. I don't know what would happen. Like, I think I'd jump high.
You think so?
Yeah. If I survived, I think I would jump high.
All right, put your predictions on what you think Isaiah's vertical and my vertical would be after a 12-week period of this loading, and then 12 weeks or 8 weeks of potentially less in that range. And then maybe we do another brief loading and then unloading, and we get a super peak at the top. So let us know. Thanks for watching, guys. If you're interested in coaching, go to teachmestrength.com. We are probably one of the only people that test everything that we talk about, and I take a lot of pride in that. I think most everything that we do is based in evidence, and I try to keep it that way. I want things to be peer-reviewed, evidence-based, but also anecdotally tested across a large population or sample size. So I think that makes us a lot different because we work with a very specific demographic of just jumping athletes, and then we also have different levels across that entire demographic. So we've got women at 30 inches, we've got women at 24 inches, we've got men at 30, 40, and 50 inches, and we know across each of those demographics how to get them jumping higher. And then along with that, we have more data on tendon pain and joint pain than anyone else in the entire world. We collect it every single day with our athletes. In the joint pain scoring, we used to do this a lot more frequently. Now we have guys do it in the chat, and we've got a shitload of data. So we know how to make you healthy, we know how to get you jumping higher, and I take a lot of pride in that. Thanks for watching, guys. Go teachmestrength.com and sign up for the annual plan for 50% off.